guys, welcome to the Reduce Stress Masterclass. I am so excited that you have taken the time out of your busy day to check out this life-changing training. Now, if you're here, it's probably because you're struggling in some way and you're wondering if stress could potentially be one of the big reasons underneath a lot of physical, emotional, and mental challenges. So, guys, stress is a huge issue. Well, I should say chronic stress is a huge issue, right? Acute stress is a really intelligent response that your body has to protect you. But the danger, and I'm going to go a lot more into details in a minute, the danger is really chronic stress. It's killing us. It's contributing to so many illnesses and diseases. But because you're here, you are going to have two tools that I know can drastically change your life. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right in. So, does this sound like you? You're struggling with stress, overwhelm, or pain in your body, and you don't know what to do next. So guys, stress is very sneaky and it shows up in a lot of different ways. Physical pain is one of the most common complaints that so many people have when they're struggling with stress, because more stress, more cortisol, more inflammation, more pain. Also, right, stress weakens the immune system a lot. So it's really common for people who are struggling with chronic stress to start feeling sick and to start picking up so many different colds and illnesses along the way. Does this sound like you? You know the importance of self-care and stress management, but you're having such a hard time being consistent and committed to your practice. So maybe you know how important it is, but you just can't seem to carve out that time, or you don't quite know what to do. All right, or you could be like this. You know a lot of ways to manage your stress, and you have some really solid tools, but you're still struggling. You're still wondering why you are feeling so stressed. It's like, I know what to do. I have all this knowledge, but where's the gap here? Where is what am I missing, right? Where is that gap? Guys, hi, my name is Dawn Pensack. Many of you already know me, but just a little bit about me. I'm an EFT master practitioner, former middle school math teacher. Yes, two quite different careers. And honestly, I never, ever thought that I wouldn't be in the classroom. I graduated from Penn State with a finance degree, knowing I was never, ever going to use that degree. Joined the New York City Teaching Fellows Program right out of college. Got my master's in math education, taught for 3 years in inner city Manhattan, and I absolutely love being in the classroom. However, my 10th year of teaching, I got sick. I got really sick, and nobody could figure out what was wrong. I went to the I went to, the doctors and the, okay, sorry about that. I went to the doctors. I had all these different procedures and went to specialists, and nobody could figure out why I was still sick. So what ended up happening, hey, Rhonda.
Hi.
Hey, I'm so glad that you're here. So what ended up happening was I had to figure this out on my own. And that's when I found EFT. It was there when I needed it, when I was desperate for something. I learned how to use the tool. It helped me heal. And I fell in love to the point where I decided to get trained and certified. And that was 4 years ago. And I am so grateful that I made that decision to come down this path. So we're together for about an hour today. So if you could make sure your cell phone is muted, you can close those tabs and really focus on what I'm going to share with you in our call today. Like I said before, there's no doubt in my mind that by the end of the call today, you are going to have two tools that can drastically change the way you feel, that can drastically reduce your stress. But I want you to be fully committed during this time and to turn off whatever is going to potentially distract you from that. All right. If you have any questions, you can pop them in the chat. I will be checking the chat as much as I can. I'll keep an eye on that. If I see something pop up, I will try to answer it at the right time. And if not, at the end of our call, I will certainly open up the floor for questions, and you will be able to ask if you have any questions. My goal for this masterclass is to help you understand the sneaky ways stress shows up for you. The sneaky ways stress can show up for so many people. And I want you to have 2 tools that you can use anytime, anywhere you're feeling stress to support your body in reducing your stress, reducing your inflammation, reducing the cortisol that could be contributing to illness, disease, and a lot of pain. So today we're going to focus on 3 things. The first thing is we're going to talk about sneaky ways stress can show up in our life. We're going to look at simple, effective stress management tools. We're going to focus on 2 tools today, and we're going to see how we can activate your body's natural self-healing process. Okay? When you release stress, you can live a much happier, healthier life. So as I mentioned before, more stress, more cortisol, more inflammation, more pain. Less stress, less pain, higher immune system markers, less anxiety, less depression, cortisol goes down, blood pressure is lower, even food cravings can go down. A lot of times we feel stressed, so we turn to something that distracts us from this uncomfortable feeling. And for many, the emotional eating almost like takes over our body. Our subconscious is desperately looking for something that can fill this void and that can numb the pain. So when you have less stress, there's so many areas of your life that can improve as a result. So yeah, here we go. Feeling stressed. This picture always makes me chuckle a little bit. And we all have different ways that we think about stress and that we look at how to reduce it. Laying here with lavender all over you. Yes, lavender can definitely support you in reducing stress, but not quite sure that's going to really do a whole lot. There are so many things that we are taught means self-care. For instance, a mani-pedi, right? How many times, oh, take care of yourself, go get a manicure, go get a pedicure, go get a massage, go spend the day at the spa, right? Those things are helping us escape from the present reality, and they feel good, right? There's definitely a place for, taking care of ourselves and treating ourselves to nice things and getting a massage and things like that. But at the end of the day, those things are really self-indulgence. Those things are really what help us escape from the present reality, but they don't change our emotional state right now. And when you're looking at living a life of less stress and making stress management part of your everyday routine, you're not going to be having a mani-pedi and going to the massage, having a spa day or going to have a massage every day. And even if you did, in that moment, you feel great. When you leave getting your manicure and you're in the car and these people are calling you or all these thoughts are coming through your head and you're living in that same cycle, the same exact patterns, your thoughts, right? They're still there. They may have quieted down during, these nice activities, but they're still there. And when we are talking about really processing and release stress, we're going so much deeper than things on the outside, right? Now, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you're telling me that my monthly girls' night out isn't stress management? And I will say this, when you are confused about, self-indulgence and stress management or self-care, think about how you feel hours or days after. Now, self-indulgence is when we are escaping the present moment. We're escaping our reality. It's kind of like we are um, like self-medicating, numbing. It's the same thing, right? We're escaping what our life is really like right now. That's not stress management. That's not self-care. Stress management and self-care is changing your life, and that has to start in the inside. Changing your thoughts. That's where it all begins. Really raising your awareness, going deep within and processing the emotions that are underneath these symptoms, these patterns, these issues, these pains, right? And we're not going to get that by going out with our girlfriends for a little bit or getting a mani-pedi every month. Now, that's obviously, again, not to say that you don't do those. It's just that looking at those activities as self-care or stress management, which is what so many people do, that's not quite accurate. So I really want to help you guys make that distinction. Okay, make that distinction. It's almost like gratitude, right? Gratitude, a lot of people have a practice where they have a journal and every day they write down 5 things they're grateful for. But a lot of times their practice stops there and they go through their day, they're judging, they're complaining, they're impatient, and they're going through their day with all of these other behaviors. Well, what happened to the gratitude, right? Gratitude is life-changing, but it's not going to change your life if you don't live in a grateful state, if you don't become a grateful person in the process. And with stress management, right, the important thing is to live a life where this is something you do. It's something you do regularly. You commit to making you a priority regularly, right? And you're going to see in this presentation that stress management could be so simple, guys. It could be so simple. And that's why I'm so excited to share this with you, because so many people think it's got to be hard. It's got to take a lot of time, right? It does not. Okay. I hope that you're coming to the presentation today, you're coming to this class with an open mind. If you come to the class with a cup that's already overflowing, there's only so much you can add to that. Really, nothing you can add to it where it's going to stay, right? It's just everything's going to overflow. So come with an open mind, come with an empty glass, suspend what you believe you already know is true about stress management or whatever it is, and the intention that you will be learning something new. Okay. So there are 3 types of women who are typically interested in a life of less stress. And there's one you absolutely want to avoid.
Yeah.
So, okay. So the first one is the student. Now, the student is, and I have been all 3 of these at one point in my life. And the student was the one I really, really connected with a lot. The student learns as much as she can all the time. She's always studying. She's always learning. She might be interested in meditation one month, try it a little bit. Then the next month, she sees a podcast on journaling. And then she's like, oh my gosh, this is going to be it. This is going to change my life. And then she gets all into journaling. And then the next month she learns about tapping. And then she gets really excited about tapping and she's on YouTube and she's looking at all these videos. And she is just so excited to learn and learn and learn. But we know the problem with the student is she's not implementing. And action creates clarity. When we do the things that we're learning, when we're trying new things and we're really committing to a practice and to creating and building a practice that works for us, well, that's where the change happens, right? She's stuck in this enthusiasm, but she's not growing and learning and changing. There's no behavior change or habit change because it's just a constant consumption of new materials. Then we have the dabbler. So the dabbler is somebody who goes to a yoga class every once in a while. She may even go every single week. She may have her yoga class that she goes to every single week. She tries some things with essential oils. Sometimes maybe, she knows lavender can help her relax and lemon peppermint can help her find energy or feel more energized. And she might journal a little bit. She might take a couple deep breaths when she's feeling really stressed. But a lot of the issue with the dabbler is that she's always reacting. She's always reacting to things that are going on. So she feels really stressed at work. She goes to yoga class that night. She feels really stressed at night. She uses some, lavender essential oils and puts that on and maybe falls asleep to some gentle, peaceful music. But there's a lot of reactionary things going on. And because she doesn't have a success environment or really supportive environment, she's not really growing in her practice or managing her stress in a way that's going to create really awesome shifts in her life. Then we have the diligent woman. Now, here we have somebody who has a practice. She's got some really solid tools and she's really consistent, right? And we all know consistency is one of the major keys to success. The problem with the diligent woman, and I was here for years, guys. I was in this spot for so long and nothing was really shifting in my life. I felt good. My health was good. There were definitely things that were good, but the real changes that I wanted to make, these massive shifts I wanted to make in certain areas of my life just were not happening. And there was a couple reasons for this. The first reason, which was really eye-opening, was that I wasn't being super vulnerable and honest with myself. Now, you might think that's so weird, but so many people get stuck in this idea that they have this certain image. There's this certain thing about them that they want people to see, right? And they wear this mask with other people, but what's even more dangerous is they have the same mask with themselves. So there's a lot of corners, there's a lot of deep, dark places that they don't want to go into because they want to play safe. They want to have the practice, have the routine. They've got the consistency down. They feel like the consistency is going to be the key for these big changes. But it's almost like they don't know what they don't know, right? I had no idea that this was going on in my life until I started working with a coach. And I was she started pointing stuff out that I didn't even know were there. Because a lot of times we are notorious for not seeing our own situation for what it really is, right? We have these rose-colored goggles on, and we have this false sense of what's really real. So the diligent woman, she's got a great start. She's got a great start in her stress management and self-care practices, but there's just a gap. There's something that, there's something that's missing where she can optimize. She can improve this. All right, so what is the best stress management practice? The best strategy for anything is the strategy you actually do. The strategy you do consistently. So simple is best. And I love sharing with my clients and sharing with the members in the Holistic Sisterhood that, hey, this does not have to be hard. This does not have to be so time consuming, or, we don't have to learn all these new things. Let's make what we're already doing even better. And let's simplify, cut out a lot of the layers and cut out a lot of the things that we don't need that aren't working so great. And that is where we're going to see a lot of big shifts. The best strategy is the strategy you do consistently. Consistency and being consistent is really, really important. So how does stress show up? Let's talk about 3 ways stress shows up. So the one way stress shows up, and we're all very familiar with this, is physically, right? We might feel really tired. We might feel like we can't do the things that we always love. Maybe, you always had lots of energy to go hiking with your partner or with your family. And now the thought of really exerting yourself physically feels overwhelming. You might feel, really tired as in the picture. But the other things with the physical symptoms of stress could be skin. That was a huge issue for me when I was dealing with a lot of chronic stress, and it was borderline burnout, which was really dangerous. But my skin was terrible, like horrible acne here that was so painful and it hurt, like horrible, horrible skin. The skin was my first symptom that completely resolved when I started really focusing on my stress and doing a lot of tapping. So physical symptoms, right? It could be skin, it could be fatigue, it could be dizziness, vertigo. There are hundreds of symptoms in here. Okay, hundreds of symptoms in here, and the emotional component underneath that symptom. Stress is a huge, huge challenge with a lot of layers to it, a lot of emotional layers to that, as well as other things in our life, like circumstances, right? Events, situations, even a belief, right? With a lot of moms, there's this belief that, I'm not good enough, or this fear of creating the same generational patterns, parenting their children like they were parented. And there's this fear, and that fear causes so much stress and so much anxiety and steals so much joy of being in the present moment, right? And then there's physical challenges to that, and it can show up in so many different ways. We also have mental challenges mental things that happen when we're dealing with a lot of stress. It could be, cognitive dysfunction. So we are not able to remember words as quickly as we used to. Maybe it's taking us longer to read. Maybe we're reading, but we can't remember what we just read, or we're having a hard time focusing, or we're feeling really distracted, right? There's so many different ways stress can affect us mentally. In the US, I just read some stats where 83% of workers say that workplace stress is a huge challenge for them. But then one thing that's even more surprising, 100 million US employees miss a day of work, or miss work every day due to stress related challenges. 100 million people miss work every day because of stress related challenges. It's a crisis. It is so important that we bring these stress management techniques to as many people as we can, because it's affecting everybody. It's affecting everybody in so many different ways. Now, it can also affect us emotionally. We may feel sad. We may feel depressed. We may feel really frustrated or disappointed or discouraged or hopeless because we just don't know what's going on. For me, I was at the point, I told you guys before, I was at that desperate point where I was at this fork in the road. I could either accept that I was going to have all these symptoms and live this really sick life with no energy and feeling dizzy all the time with terrible skin, or I could figure this out on my own, because nobody could help me. Nobody could figure this out. Nobody knew what was wrong. They just knew that, hey, there is something wrong with you. So I had these two choices, and thankfully, I made that decision to try to figure this out. And it wasn't long before I found EFT, which was the starting place in my journey. But there's a lot of emotional challenges that come along with stress and just having too much stress. And stress is literally killing us. So there's been so much research that shows stress is a major component in over 90% of illnesses and diseases. So if we reduce the stress in our body, we support our body and we support our health in so many ways. Reducing your stress and having a solid technique for reducing stress is one of the best ways that you can activate your body's self-healing process. If you reduce stress, you're supporting your body, you're raising your immune system markers. I have this sheet of all these different stats. You raise your immune system markers by over 113% by tapping for 1 hour, right? Imagine how your life would change. Imagine how your body would change by tapping for 1 hour every week, or every 2 weeks, or even every month. right? It's pretty remarkable. But also, tapping for an hour can reduce blood pressure, reduce cortisol, food cravings, depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress symptoms, pain down 57% with 1 hour of tapping. I mean, these are remarkable statistics. But if we do nothing about our stress, it is just destroying our body and our organs and our body's ability to function at an optimal level. Okay, so who wants an easy way to ditch your stress? This is one of my favorite ways. So you can type in the chat, say, yes, please, or let's go, or stop talking so much. But we are going to go into a really easy way to ditch our stress. Okay, so let's chat about tapping. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'm an EFT master practitioner. So when I left my career as a middle school math teacher and I went into this new field, right? When I went into this new career, down this new path, EFT was it just came into my life at the perfect time and I was hooked. EFT is a combination of psychology and acupressure. So you are literally tapping on certain parts of the body. So here we have the acupressure, and we're saying specific phrases. So as we're doing this, we're sending calming waves to the central nervous system. We are calming down the heart rate. We are helping the body shift from the sympathetic nervous system, which is that fight, flight, freeze, to the parasympathetic nervous system, that rest, digest, and heal. Now, one thing that was really interesting to me was when we are in the sympathetic nervous system, all of our blood flow and energy, for the most part, is going to our arms and our legs, right? Think about literally outrunning the tiger, right? And the stress response is super intelligent. So you outrun the tiger for however long that is, not a very long period of time. And when you realize you survived and you got up the tree or behind the rock or whatever it is, you entered this state of total bliss and total gratitude. And gratitude is one of the chemicals that is produced. When you're in a state of gratitude, your brain is producing a chemical that is the most supportive chemical for your body. Okay, so being in a state of gratitude is just magical for your body. But what happens, and as you went into that state of bliss, your body shifted from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic. Now, in the sympathetic, right, when you're outrunning that tiger, so many systems in your body completely shut down. Your reproduction shuts down because, who needs to make a baby, right? When you're outrunning a tiger, that is not even important anymore. Your digestion shuts down because, hey, who needs to digest food when you are literally trying to survive the next 30 seconds or 10 seconds, right? So things start to shut down, and all of your blood flow comes to your arms and legs, and only 5%, right? Only 5%, this tiny percentage of your blood and energy is going to your organs, right? Like your trunk, where all your organs are. So then when you shift over into the parasympathetic nervous system, now you have 10 times as much blood flow going to your trunk organs. So now instead of having 5% of your blood and your energy going to your trunk organs, what's literally keeping you alive, now you have 50%. So now the distribution is good. You have 50% of your blood flow going to your internal, your organs, your trunk, and now you have 50% that's going to your external limbs, your arms and your legs. Now, all disease starts in the trunk. It's so important for us to keep things flowing. And with EFT, that's what we're doing. We are keeping our blood flow. We're keeping our energy flowing throughout the entire body. It's so easy for us to help our body shift from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system with tapping. It is one of my favorite tools, and I'm just so excited to share with you guys. So let's talk real quick about the points in the process, and then I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we'll do a demonstration. So here are the 9 basic points in the tapping process. And we're gonna go through all of these together. By the end of our demo, you guys are gonna be pros at the process. It's actually very, very simple. In the process, we first start with identifying the challenge that we're working with. So today we're working on stress. We're reducing stress. Then we go through this process of acknowledging it and accepting it. Now, when we accept what is and we stop resisting, we can start healing. Okay, everything starts with this acceptance. And in the EFT process, that's how we begin. We begin with acceptance. Then we go through the tapping points to allow our body to process. We allow our body to process the issue. And when the body is ready, it can release it. Now, does this always happen right away? No. Does it sometimes happen right away? Yes. There are many times when the body's ready, like, hey, I'm ready to let this go. You have created now this environment to support your body in letting it go, and things, things shift, things move. Even if you don't feel a result right away or you don't feel a shift right away, the tapping is always working. It's always supporting you in moving this energy around and shifting things so that your body can turn on, can really fire up its self-activating self-healing process, right? You can activate your body's natural self-healing process, and tapping is a great way, and it's a simple way to really support your body in this. So I'm going to stop sharing and we'll jump right in. We'll do some tapping. So first, we're going to start with tapping on the side of the hand. Okay, so I'm like right underneath the knuckle. And I want you to take a nice deep breath. You're going to repeat after me 3 times. Even though I have this stress in my body, I'm doing the best I can. Even though I have all this stress in my body, I'm doing a great job. Even though there's so much stress in my body, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Up to the top of the head, all the stress in my body. All this stress. There's so much stress in my body. All this stress. This stress. All this stress in my body. There's so much stress. All this stress. Under the arm, all this stress in my body. This stress. Take a deep breath here. All this stress. This stress. There's so much stress in my body. And it's hard. All this stress. All this stress in my body. This stress. Now, what I want you to do is tune in to your body and see if there's any pain or discomfort or tension, tightness. If there's something in your body that feels really uncomfortable. Okay, and I'm just going to pause and take a glass of water real quick. Okay. All this stress in my, and fill in the blank. This stress in my, so is it your neck, your back, your left knee, your forehead? Okay, do you have a headache? Is it your lower back, right? Where is it in your body? All this stress in my, this stress. There's so much stress in my body. There's so much stress in my, where is that tension or pain? And take a deep breath here. Notice if your ability to take a deep breath has changed. I know for me, there's always that part in the tapping process where I notice, wow, it was so much easier to take that breath, or it was so much easier to drop my breath into my belly or really use my belly to take that deep breath. So notice if there's any changes for you too. All the stress in my, I'm ready to let go of this stress. I'm ready to let this go. To let go of this stress. I believe my body can feel calm and relaxed. My body can feel calm and relaxed. My body can feel calm and relaxed. I choose to believe my body can relax. My body can feel calm. And I can let go of this stress. Okay, so now shake out your arms, move your body, do a little dancing. Shake out your arms. Maybe inhale, reach your arms up. And then exhale, bring your arms down. You can roll out your shoulders, pull them back and forth. And maybe stretch from side to side. This always feels so good. Anytime you can combine movement with tapping or with breathing, which we're going to get to in a minute, anytime you can combine movement with tapping or breathing, you've created a perfect scenario, a perfect environment for your body to let go of stress. Okay, so movement plus tapping equals amazing stress management tool. Movement plus breathing, amazing stress management tool for you. Okay, when I first started as an EFT practitioner, I actually would meet clients. I did a lot of local sessions, and I would meet clients on the trails, and we'd hike for the hour. We'd walk 30 minutes, we'd turn back, we'd walk 30 minutes, and it was really fun. And there were some really amazing breakthroughs that people were having. So if you can, marry these two, combine these two, it's a really, really great support for your body. Okay. So we talked about tapping. Oh, we did our demo. Now, can tapping really change my life? You might be wondering. You might be thinking, could this really work for me? Is this something that people with like me can benefit from? So I want to share with you guys three quick stories. So one of my clients for many years dealt with an issue with her throat. So she had this chronic cough. And she also had some issues with house cleaning and just being really messy and disorganized in her house, which was causing a lot of issues, right, with her marriage. She tried a lot of therapy. She did many things, traditional ways of helping with these emotional challenges. And after 4 sessions, her chronic cough, we discovered, was actually related to this fear of speaking up for herself, standing up for herself, right? She had tolerated for so many years in her life a lot of unfairness and a lot of things that, she wasn't asserting herself and really sticking up for herself and having that courage and that confidence. So she found herself more assertive and courageous than ever before after our 4 sessions, which was really a really remarkable and exciting story. Now here, this is one of my students in one of my programs. She did the tap and rant, which is a technique you can do in tapping, which basically you tap and you just rant about whatever's on your mind. You just let it flow through you. You don't filter yourself. You don't judge yourself. A great time to do this is if you're in the shower, nobody can hear you. You just let this out. You let it out. And after she did this, she was able to bend down and put her socks on. Pretty awesome, right? She has lots of back pain, a lot of chronic issues in her back. And this was tied to this emotional challenge of, what is she saying here? Self-sabotage, not being honest with herself. She's always made herself be very positive to herself. And when she started letting out this negative self-talk, which is there, we all have things underneath the surface, and when we're not focusing on them and we're not weeding them out and getting rid of them, shining the light on them, getting rid of them, it's kind of like we're filling this, we're trying to put positive things into a garbage can, right? We're putting whipped cream on garbage. That's what my mentor always says. It's like, you put whipped cream on garbage, you still have garbage, right? So you have to weed that stuff out. And then her physical body changed as a result of getting through the emotional challenges. And then this is one of my favorite stories. A little guy, 18 months old, had 2 open heart surgeries in the first 6 months of his life, and was dealing with a lot of trauma related to his nose. And when we did one tapping session specifically for his nose, we did a few other tapping sessions around the trauma of his first 6 months. His mom was able to wipe his boogies, which, hey, that's pretty exciting if you're able to do that, right? So the trauma of these surgeries, and especially his second one, was really scary, having a massive infection and things like that. It gets trapped in the body. Our life story becomes our physical body. There's this saying that our biography, our life story, our biography becomes our biology. So this little guy, Ed, that life story, those surgeries, that trauma became trapped in his physical body, right? As having the trauma with his nose and anybody being near his face. So that was really exciting. And little Ed is now 4. He just had his 3rd major heart surgery and he's doing awesome, which is really exciting. Okay, and a little bit about my story, right? I know I shared this with you guys before, but I was struggling at one point in my life. And it really all came to a head when the major event in my life that started this whole thing, that started my whole downward spiral with my health, was when my daughter was born. She's almost 9, but when she was born, she was 2 months premature. And the trauma of everything related to her birth, the first year of her life was really challenging. If you know of any preemie mamas, or if you have a preemie yourself, that first year is so hard. Everything, right? Everything is a challenge. So the trauma of that year, and 9 years ago, there was no like, hey, mama, how are you doing? How are you feeling? There was nothing like that. So I didn't know what I didn't know. And I just pushed through and kept going because I thought that's what I needed to do, right? That's what I needed to do. And so that trauma 18 months later became an eruption of all these symptoms. And looking back on it, that's typically what happens. We have an event in our life, and it doesn't always happen right away. Sometimes it does, but more often than not, it takes a little time. Sometimes it takes 1 year, sometimes it takes 7 years for that to manifest in the body as something, as a physical challenge. So for me, it was 18 months. A lot of veterans that I work with post-traumatic stress, it can be 7 years since they left the Army or the Marines or whatever, where all of a sudden, all these things come up and it's completely overwhelming. And now they have this diagnosis of post-traumatic stress and they just don't know what to do. So our biography, our life story becomes our biology. It becomes trapped in our body. So now let's talk about breathing, and let's talk about breathing the right way. So this woman here, Dr. Belisa Vranich, she completely changed my life about 3 years ago. I saw her in a workshop where we were down in Tampa, and it was actually a workshop for combat veterans who were healing, who were looking to heal through storytelling. And Dr. Belisa came in for like a lunchtime workshop or whatever. And she was like, I'm gonna, do this thing on breathing and blah, blah, blah. And I just thought, what on earth is she like? We all know how to breathe. It's an automatic thing. We breathe every day. Like we're breathe constantly, right? If we're not breathing, we're not alive. And so the couple things that I learned that really changed my life with Dr. Belisa was that first thing, which is the most surprising, is that most of us breathe vertically. So if you think for a second right now, if you take a deep breath, did you get taller or did you get wider? Right? Think about that. You can pop that in the chat if you want. I'll keep an eye on the chat. So take a deep breath without thinking about it too much. And I'm noticing me right now, I'm breathing vertically. That's my default right now. So I have to work on that. But most of us, we get taller as we breathe, right? Our body gets taller. So what's happening is that we're actually not using our proper breathing muscles. Our body is supposed to breathe using our belly, our lungs, our diaphragm, right? We are supposed to be breathing with our belly. Our breath is supposed to be low in our body, right? And up until we're about 6 years old, that's how we breathe, right? We were perfect breathers until about 6 years old. We breathed in a way that Dr. Belisa says anatomically correct. She has a whole TED Talk on this, which is just fascinating. So when we're about 6, we learn from society, we learn from the adults in our life. And there's a lot of like modeling, right? Teachers and parents, when you take a deep breath, right? What do? We show kids, we get taller as we take a deep breath. And so kids start to learn that that's how you breathe. You get taller. And it's funny because if you watch little kids, if you watch babies, they breathe. I mean, it's just so perfect. Their belly, right? Expands, contracts. When they lay down, you see their belly get bigger and smaller and bigger and smaller. And animals too, perfect breathers. They breathe with their bellies. They never have to worry about not breathing perfectly. So when we shift around 6 from breathing with our bellies the perfect way to breathing vertically, we start to use these secondary breathing muscles. We start to use our neck and our shoulders and our back to breathe, we cut our oxygen supply down by, oh my gosh, I don't know the number, but by so much. So we're getting so much less oxygen, which again, right, when our body's oxygen deprived, more anxiety, more pain, less health overall, right? Our cells are getting less oxygen. Our body is really, really unsupported, right? We need oxygen to breathe. It's life. So we're doing all this damage to our body over time, and we're not breathing in the anatomically correct way. The only saving grace about this is that when we go to sleep, when we're laying on our back, and this is probably true if you were sitting in an armchair or something, but when you're laying on your back, it's impossible to breathe any way other than perfect. So if we're laying on our back sleeping, we're breathing with our belly, right? We're not laying on our bed like, like getting taller. We're literally getting wider. Our belly is rising and falling. The only problem is that, especially now, so many people are having so many issues sleeping, and people are not sleeping for the recommended amount of time. So our bodies cannot make up for all the damage during the day of breathing vertically when we're sleeping, And so, so we're always at that deficit. There's always a gap. And it's unfortunate because a lot of times just focusing on breathing in the anatomically correct way is enough to support your body on a whole new level. And what Dr. Belisa mentioned in the workshop was our bodies can be reprogrammed. We can retrain our bodies to breathe correctly. And the way that we can do that, because we're going to practice in a second how to breathe with the technique she describes as the rock and roll breath. We're going to practice that in a minute. But it's going to be exaggerated. It's going to feel really weird when we're doing it, like really weird. But as we practice this more and more, and as we're more and more aware of how we're breathing, our body goes back to the default state, right? Our body goes back to breathing in this way. So it's really important to be conscious of how we're breathing and really aware of how we're breathing. And then, our body can shift. All right. So who's ready to practice this technique? All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our hands on our belly. Okay. So we're going to put the hands on the belly for now. And if you're familiar with yoga, this is the exact same thing as the cat-cow pose, okay? So as we inhale, you can think of like putting your chin up a little bit, shoulders back. You can think about kind of sticking your butt out, okay? And you're gonna fill your belly with so much air. So you're gonna literally feel your belly get so much bigger, okay? So we're gonna inhale. And if you're sitting down on a chair, you might want to just come to the end of the chair. Okay, so come to the end of the chair a little bit. If you're standing like me, it's a little bit different. The feeling is a little bit different, but you can do this either way. So you're gonna inhale, right? And then on the exhale, you're going to roll your spine. Okay, you can look down, and you're gonna think about exhaling with intention, almost like with some force, okay? Because a lot of us are really lazy exhalers. So you're gonna really focus on that exhale. You're gonna get all that air out. You're gonna just exhale with intention, almost to the point where you might feel like you have to cough, okay? So really focus on that exhale. So again, inhale, exhale. Come back to neutral. Inhale. Exhale. Back to neutral. And do one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. How did you guys feel doing that? Was there anything that, well, first, does it feel like natural? Does it feel normal, or does it feel really awkward? And as you do this more and more, it becomes more and more just what you do, right? Your body starts to breathe this way normally. It doesn't feel different. It doesn't feel weird. It's just like what you do. The thing is, though, making it a practice to revisit this breath often. So in Dr. Belisa's book, and it's been a while since I've done this, so I should do this again, but it's a 14-day program. And it's actually to improve your mental and physical health, but you're doing this through breathing in very intentional ways. So the more you do it, the more accustomed your body is to just doing this naturally. And when you breathe with your belly, there's a couple things that could happen at the beginning. And I'm always very cautious of letting my clients know ahead of time, but you might start to feel a little bit lightheaded or a little bit dizzy if you're doing this a lot, because what happens is your body has been oxygen deprived for so long, right? Most of us are not breathing correctly. I've even noticed myself, I need to go back to really being super, super intentional, because I'm defaulting now to this vertical breathing. And so because our bodies are oxygen deprived, when we start to breathe in this way again, it's an adjustment, right? How does our body handle all of this fresh oxygen, right? We might start to feel a little bit dizzy or a little bit lightheaded. So if that happens, just stop. And then, breathe normally for a little bit and then see how you feel. But that's something that can certainly happen, and it's your body's adjusting, your body's growing and changing. Okay. So any questions so far? Okay. All right, so I'm going to go back here. Okay. So what are the 3 secrets to self-care and stress management? So let's see. Secret number 1, it does not have to be hard. I talked about this a lot in the beginning. So many people think that stress management is this myth. It's so complicated. It's so hard. It takes so much time. You have to learn all these new things. You have to know exactly what stress is doing to your body, and that's not true. It does not have to be hard at all. It can be as simple as taking a deep breath every time you check your phone. Taking a deep breath when your coffee is brewing in the morning, or taking maybe 3 or 4 deep breaths as your coffee is brewing, or as you're, cooking your breakfast. Pause, and you just center yourself, plant your feet flat on the floor, feel grounded, feel safe, feel secure. Drop that breath into your belly and really focus on being present, being in the present moment. Healing, joy, happiness, it's all found in the present moment. The more aware we are of the present, the more we are supporting our body in every area. But stress management is, it's really, we can't be super stressed if we are right here, right now. Okay, right here, right now, and really aware of our body in that present moment. But it does not have to be hard. Does not have to be hard. Secret number 2, it does not have to take so much time. Yes, it doesn't. When I was first starting, really building my practice and really making this a huge priority for me, I would do, every time I hit a stop sign, came to a stop sign, I would do 2 or 3 rock and roll breaths. right? It's a little bit harder in the car because you don't want to have your back leaning against, so you have to come off the seat a little bit, but it's totally doable, right? 2 deep breaths. There you go. Anytime I came to a red light, rock and roll breaths. And this required me to be in that present moment, right? Until it became like a habit, I had to think about it. So I had to be really super aware, but I would take a couple deep breaths. Anytime I sat down at my, computer to check my email every morning, take a couple deep breaths, right? When it becomes something you do and it becomes part of your routine and you're consistent with it, hey, it does not have to take so much time. The other thing that I encourage you guys to do is look at your life, look at your routine, look at the things that you're already doing, and ask yourself, how can I make them better? When you brush your teeth, maybe you want to take 3 deep breaths before or after. Okay, but how can you make what you're already doing better? It doesn't have to take time. It doesn't have to take a lot of time, sorry. And secret number 3, there's no perfect way to get this right. If you are doing something consistently, right? We talked about it in the beginning, the best strategy for you is something you do consistently, something that becomes part of your routine. It becomes part of who you are and what you do. You can't get this right. You are going to develop something that works for you. You're going to develop your own system, your own routine over time, and that is awesome. Now, with tapping, there's a lot of different ways we can use that tool. And the easiest thing to do to start with is just do silent tapping. So, you might want to just go through the points silently, not even talking, just silently going through the points, right? And see how your body feels after 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes of doing that, right? But make it work for you and don't beat yourself up over getting it right or getting it wrong. There is no perfect way to do this. The number one reason why people don't continue this work. So let's think about that student, right? She's always learning and learning and learning, but she's not implementing. So why not? Right? She's smart. Why doesn't she continue this? It's because they don't have a supportive environment. So the environment is critical for success. Environment is critical for success. It gives you the focus, right? The leadership, that's that community where you can grow and you can thrive. We are not meant to be solitary creatures. We are not meant to do this alone. Having that supportive environment is critical, so important. Now, we know with healing, we know that the journey is not always a straight line, right? There are ups and downs, there's curves, there's things that happen along the way, lots of obstacles that happen along the way. But again, having that supportive community, having that guidance, that leadership, that focus is critical for really making huge changes in your life. So your next step, I know that you're here for a reason. You're interested in learning how to better manage your stress. You are interested in learning how to optimize your health and really take your life to the next level. So I would love to encourage you guys to book a 15-minute call with me. We can do this a lot of different ways. I have lots of openings on my schedule in the next couple weeks, but booking a 15-minute chat and for me to get to know where you are, what you're looking for, what your goals are, I can really recommend one of my programs for you. The most affordable program that is fantastic is the Holistic Sisterhood. And let me show you guys real quick what that looks like. We have done lots of, let's see, how do I bring that up? We've done lots of different things in the last few months, and we're really excited. We've opened the door and welcomed 3 new people in last week, which was so exciting. But the Holistic Sisterhood is the community. It's that environment. It's the support that that people need in order to really help them get to the next level. in the sisterhood, we have a variety of things we do. We focus on EFT tapping is one of our, main tools. In the sisterhood, I am one of the mentors, as well as Gianna Burke, who's also an EFT master practitioner. Here, let's see where she is, right here. So Gianna and I are mentors in the sisterhood. But what we do is we offer EFT tapping, mindfulness. We have tons of Reiki trainings in the sisterhood. And we also have guest speakers that come in usually every month that do different things with the community. We have 2 live calls a month. So 2 live 1-hour calls a month that are related to the theme of the month. So in December, our theme is relationships. And right now we're doing a challenge, a relationship challenge. But we do different things during the month to support the theme. And our live calls are typically to support that theme and to really help people in that area. We have we do live calls every month. We have our community. We do 2 wellness sessions each month related to the monthly theme as well. So we have a library right now of over 70 different meditation, tapping meditations, tap along sessions, Reiki sessions, and just a variety of all kinds of things, especially with our special guests. We have some incredible, the higher heart self, or the higher self healing meditation for the heart. We have Ray of Light Meridian Therapy, which was an amazing guest speaker. So there are tons of trainings in the library. And in our live call, if you decide to join the sisterhood, if that feels like a good fit for you, I will recommend a plan for where you begin. So the last thing we want is for you to feel overwhelmed by, the amount of content in there. So I will walk you through and let you know exactly how to, where to start, right? Where to start. We just added the compassionate communication course. Actually, this is the conscious parenting course. This is wrong here. I need to change that. It's called the conscious parenting course, and it focuses on how to break generational patterns, but really how to heal your childhood story, how to heal any wounds that you might be carrying from a childhood, any childhood trauma or anything along the way. But it also has a lot to do with communication. So feeling empowered in your communications, showing up to different conversations in a really empowered state, and helping you teach your children these skills as well, which is really awesome. But the conscious parenting course and the focus on communication, it really applies to anybody, whether or not they have young kids, adult kids, or they don't have children at all. So Gianna actually added that course. That's a $1,000 course she just included for the sisterhood. That's just part of the program. We have a personal tapping library, professional tapping library. We have a pain management tapping library right now as well. And I'm going to be adding a course, supporting your body through pain course as well, probably around February or March. So you got lots of really cool things in the sisterhood. The wellness path helps us identify, where you are at this stage, and kind of helps you see the growth and see the path that you're taking to really become that empowered, confident, courageous, healthy, vibrant woman that you want to be. So in our initial call, we look at this wellness path, we see where are you on here and where are you going, right? Where are you going? So important. There is a sneak peek video on here where you can really get a good look at what's inside the sisterhood. What some of our members are saying. We opened this up in March. We started this community in March because we saw the need for community when everybody was isolated, when COVID hit and we were all confined to our houses. We've had some members from March, right? We've had this group of people who have been with us since the very, very beginning. And it has become an amazingly supportive, welcoming community. Our members are all different ages. They come from all different professional careers. We have a few teachers. We have a few college students. We have a few retired, people in their 70s who are retired and who are really looking for the environment that's going to support them in getting to the next level. So we really encourage anybody who's looking for that environment, who's looking for a really engaged, hands-on community. Gianna and I are in the group every single day, working with people, helping people, troubleshooting, challenges that come up. And it's just been a really open community for everyone. Now, we do have some members who are not really interested in the community, and they're very interested in the content. So they're kind of on their own personal journey. They're not really interested in being in just being part of the community stuff, but they watch our live call replays. They are really plugged in with the content. All of our content is housed in, it's called Kajabi. Let's see if I can find the video again, but you can see here in the video here, let's see. Oh, it's not playing again, but you can see in there, it's all in one spot. There's an app for it, which everyone loves, which you can just pull it up on your phone. You download the free app and you have access to everything on this app, which is really fantastic. Really, really awesome. So we have a 7-day free trial. So we're encouraging anybody who's interested, anybody who just wants to check out, get a feel for the community. Is this the right place for you? It might not be, and that's totally fine. But we have an offer for 7 days to just check it out. Check it out, come in, join us. You can, you'll be in the Facebook group, so you can check out the community there. We're doing a challenge this week so that you can join us for the 7 days, be part of the challenge. And you can also log into Kajabi and take a look around. Like I said, I always recommend that people start with that higher self heart healing meditation. It is absolutely phenomenal. It's just awesome in our special guest section. And we also have that ray of light meridian therapy session as well. Those two, I love them. I love those special guests. So we do have some really incredible guests that come in every month, but find something in there that you want to check out. There's a lot of Reiki sessions. There's a lot of the tap alongs. We keep our trainings 15 minutes or less. Okay, except for the special guests, that those could be up to an hour, but the trainings are short and sweet. We want you to come in to the app, we want you to log in, and we want you to get a result, right? We want you to get that result. Now for our deeper healing, right? Our live calls are really where we go pretty deep. If you want, sometimes we don't, but we've started to really peel back more and more layers because that's what our members wanted, right? They were like, let's start getting deeper, right? Let's start getting deeper. So that's what we're doing now. And it's been really awesome. So if you, let's see, is there anything? Oh, and there is absolutely no contract. So this is something that if you decide to join, if you want to check out the free trial and you want to cancel after 7 days, or you want to cancel after 3 months, there's no contract. You can cancel anytime you want. If you decide to join annually, then you get 2 months free. That's one incentive there if you want to really lock in that discount and that commitment. And yeah, I am going to in the email with the link to the replay, with the link to this video, you'll see the link for the sisterhood. So you can check that out. It's at dawnpensac.com/sisterhood. You can check that out. Hopefully you guys decide to start the free trial. We would love to see you in the group for a long period of time, because we know that the environment, the focus, the leadership, the guidance is really what you need to get to that next level that you're looking for, to make that massive breakthrough, that massive progress in your life. And we're able to do that at such an affordable price. We're able to do this $32 a month. That's it, $32 a month with 7 days free for you to have access to everything you need to really get to that next step, to really truly get to that next step. The community is amazing. it really has blossomed into something we are so grateful for and we are so proud of. So I'm going to stop sharing and see if anybody has any questions. So Rhonda, I know you are here. Do you have any questions at all?
No, everything was really clear.
Awesome.
So, very good. Very good.
Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me in the Reduce Stress Masterclass. I hope that you learned 2 really simple techniques today that can drastically change your life. Remember, it's up to you to do the work. Schedule the time every day, even if it's 5 minutes for now, okay? 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Schedule the time every day for you. Doing this work will change your life. Be consistent, be open with yourself, and get it done. Get it done. You can do the tapping, the breathing, or something else that a combination is great, but make sure that you are making yourself a priority, because that is the most important thing that you can do, the most important gift that you can give to your family as well. All right. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.